So just going to do a short little video on growth. This is for the Human Needs and Personality series. You know, growth is one of those interesting things. We're all growing, and there seems to be an almost fatalistic idea in human design that all growth is equal. Like there's no choice anyway, so what does it matter? There's something called a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And we'll go more into this soon, but the idea is basically that the fixed mindset is basically content where it is, but in a sort of negative way, not willing to learn. I mean, you could really bring it back to a very simple dichotomy. Are you willing to learn or not? Have you finished learning? And what's funny is there's people in human design who kind of feel like they've finished learning. And that's actually the opposite of what human design is about. Human design is about a life you never stop learning. I mean, it's easy for me to say I have Gate 2, Line 1, which is all about this. But even those who don't have that, I mean, no matter what your body graph, what your design is, we are all here to really learn, and that is the growth mindset. The growth mindset of always be learning, always be growing. There's a great way of approaching what human design does from a guy named Nathan Garrison. And Nathan Garrison says that we basically get stuck in our we get stuck in top-down processing. So bottom-up processing means that's kind of what kids do. That's what we all did when we were young. We processed bottom-up. We would basically we would see something and not know what it is, so we would actually take it in sensorially, and then over time, we developed so many meanings that the meanings essentially became, it looks like everybody's leaving. I better wrap up. So just wrapping up, this is the difference between bottom-up and top-down processing. The growth mindset is sort of remaining open and practicing the bottom-up processing. In psychology, bottom-up processing is sensorial input, taking input in from our senses, and top-down processing is sort of the expectations that we form around that. So the bottom-up processing is where sensory data is interpreted based on the data itself, not using pre-existing concepts. Over time, top-down processing takes more and more hold of the life, having more and more interpretations of incoming information. And this is the accumulation of prior knowledge, experiences, and expectations. That's Gregory, 1970. And this is compared to sensory information from our external environment that builds perceptions based on current input. Gibson, 1966. So these are terms from psychology. Nathan Garrison, the human design researcher, brought them into the conversation about human design, and I think it's very relevant. And particularly when it comes to the growth mindset has something to do with not allowing the top-down processing to be total. We obviously need a certain amount of top-down processing, but we also need to remain open to new information coming in, new stimulus, and updating and sort of not prejudging based on our expectations. And that's a big part of the growth mindset.